Hello, hello. I could not wait. I had to stream. It's a bit early, but I just had to get on it. I had to get on my Pokemon. I had to get back to it. Hello, Namae. Hello, Peculiar Oomph. Hello, Moo. I always feel so awkward in the beginning here. It's like, damn, what do I even say? What have I been up to lately? What do other streamers do here in the beginning? They have things going on in their lives. I have a can of Cola Zero, and I made a hamburger. But I ate it. Wow, amazing. Let's get to Pokemon. That was pretty good. Here's some critique for myself for the future. Maybe have a topic prepared before you start just chatting. You can complain about back pain and such, and it doesn't hurt. You can make it hurt. Man, I'm too old. I don't want to be reminded of that kind of thing. I used to have back pain all the time as a teenager and a kid. And I guess I have less of that now. But now I'm an adult and I have pain in my knees instead. I had a banh mi for breakfast and it marinated beef. It was so good. Oh my god, it does sound good. Oh my god, look, it's meat. So yeah, I could not wait to, my game was delayed by a day for people who do not know. So, I jumped ahead. I played a decent amount. Chose your team. I guess I have a pretty regular team. I guess maybe not, actually. Pig Knight. I went with Tepig. Got the frog. Got the thing. Got the fox. Alright, pretty good, pretty good. Has anyone here actually played the game so far? And what do you think? Because I guess I've played it for, 2 days? But I've been kind of on and off. Not as much yesterday. But I will... here's my review of the game so far. I really like it. That's about it. I actually, like, I do want to make, like, a full video, a full review of this game on my second channel. And, I don't know, I feel like people have been so harsh with criticism on this game. Like, oh my god. This texture is pretty bad, I have to say. Are you a big Pokemon fan? I would say that I have become a big Pokemon fan again. I used to be a bit so-so, just like, oh, I like it casually, the sun is getting low, oh my god. These textures are not great, you know? But it's not what I stop to look at. I'm, like, enjoying the gameplay, I'm having fun, the story seems interesting. I've seen people on Twitter hate on it, but I didn't see anything in specific. Yeah, I guess it's sort of like, I don't know, I don't want to sound too, like, Nintendo Defense Force. But I do think there's a general grift going on with hating on Nintendo right now, where it's like, it's very easy, how should I phrase this? It's very easy to criticize games that you have not played and be like, this looks bad. And you don't have to play the game if you just make a 10-minute video saying game looks bad. If you want to say game good, you actually have to, like, spend time playing the game. It's so easy to just, like, make a daily video about how bad a game is, and you can just rake in money and get cash. Hi lads, hello, hello, Gildarus, hello! It's my favorite Mario and Mayor Adjacent Video Game Philanthropist. Aw, man. No Mario to... I just came off editing my last stream, and it was just non-stop me talking about Mario for 2 hours straight. And I could not help but think, like, I need a break from Mario. It's been like 3 streams in a row where I talk nothing about, like, the philosophy and life of Mario. I heard the textures are a bit meh. Yeah, I guess I feel like, I don't see the problem. Maybe not. I mean, I still think it's fun to talk about Mario. I do genuinely believe this. This is, like, where it might sound insane. I genuinely believe that if I felt like it, I could make an entire career out of only talking about Mario, and only playing Mario games, and only doing Mario-adjacent stuff. And that could be the rest of my life. And I would be happy, and I would be fine. But I feel like that's all, I don't know. That's not really, I don't... I think that's just because I'm insane. Like, Super Mario Bros? Yeah, I kind of think so. I mean, I respect Super Mario Bros. That guy actually goes, like, insane, because that guy, like, breaks down all kinds of, like, media and games. Oh my god, one move. I got it as easy as that. I don't know anything about Mario Bros, but he seems a cool guy. I don't actually know if it's, like, a team of people. Doing so would slowly wither all the other creative parts out of your brain until you... I mean, I did actually make, like, a painting or drawing of Wario a while back. And all I could think was like, wow, this has really like affected everything in my life. Like, it even affected me to the point where my drawings just became Wario. And I was kind of thinking I might draw Mario and Luigi and stuff like that. But then I was like, I need to hold myself back from that. Matthias the Mario guy, I really could be. It's just one guy who really likes Mario. I can respect that. I don't think he's made a career out of it. But I could, you know, I could ride on his wave. I'm just kind of waiting for a night to come. Actually, I think you have to be... It has to be nighttime to challenge this guy, right? Am I wrong? Hurry! Oh, wait, I have to get points, right? I see how it is. I do still have to wait for a night, though. If I understood correctly how this game works. You're gonna beat up this kid? Yeah, but you can't do it in the middle of the day. In Paris, you can beat up children. But no, no, no. Only at night. Actually, I feel like... Looking at this map of this, city... It feels like looking at this, it should feel so limited and little and teeny and tiny. But I feel like I don't really have the problem that I thought I would have of like, oh, it seems so tiny, so small. Like, even when I go back to like old areas, I keep like finding new stuff. There's a night clock in Paris right now, isn't there? Is there? What the hell? Is that like a Persona thing? I don't know. Isn't there like, it's been about like a themed Persona 3 or something like that? Where it's like there's an hour of the night that no one remembers. And that's when you can beat up children. I really like how in the Pokemon universe, people just don't seem to fight each other. Because I do think that's a really weird thing. Because it's kind of like, you can go to the boss. Like, this is an ongoing thing in Pokemon games, where it's like, there's a whole, like, evil league of people. And you just fight them. Why did I do that? You go to the evil guy's, like, lair. And you just fight their Pokemon. And nothing's... They could just beat you up. But I think that's, like, really fascinating in a weird way. Like, in the lore of Pokemon. The whole concept of Pokemon battle is, like, so... within the social culture that the idea of beating someone up with your fist doesn't, like, even come in as a concept. Like, if you lived in the Pokemon universe and you practiced, like, martial arts... You could just conquer the world. You could just... I know, right? Why don't they just, like, shoot me or something? Yeah, it's a really... I don't know. Like, they don't even stop you. Once they have beaten you, there's just, like, a social contract of, like... No, we're not gonna stop you from Iran. It has to be fair and square. Yeah, Pokemon is great. I do kind of want to change my outfit. No one has ever thought of punching another human being. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it kind of weirdly makes sense that people have not thought of it. Because at the same time, human beings are, like, so lazy that it kind of feels like it would make sense. Like, human beings would just be like, nah, I don't feel like it. Like, why would you fight if you can just, like... like, let's say you do have, like, your own little minion who can fight for you. And then your minion gets beat up. Are you really gonna fight the guy who beat up your minion after that? Or are you just gonna be like, you know what? You win. I'm over it, actually. I'll leave it here. I feel like it kind of weirdly makes sense. Like, I think there's something to the human psyche that would kind of make you go, like, I just saw, like my little strong guy get beaten up. So I'm not even gonna bother. I'm feeling a bit red, actually. Actually, you know what? One thing is lacking. I would like a red hat. Oh my god. Now it's perfect. I'm like Shadow the Hedgehog. You're like in middle school and go to your mom. Like, Mom, this kid slapped me, and she's like... Man. That reminded me of a really sad... Okay, maybe this is not a funny bit. But I do remember someone in school being like that. Like, I made him upset, and he was like... I'm gonna tell my dad about you. And my dad is gonna beat you up. And I was like, I got a little bit scared, right? Of like, oh my god, he's gonna tell his dad. And his dad is gonna beat him up. And then later I found out he does not have a dad. So what? He just said his dad is going to beat me up. And he didn't even have a dad. He was like, he was using fiction against me to scare me. How does that even work? But that just made me feel sad for him. Like, my god. Why did he have to... Yeah, it is a weird thing to lie about, but that kid was also just a weird liar. But then I went from, like, being upset with him to just being like, what a sad little guy. Look at me. I did it. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll be red. I'm switching it up. I'm fitting the theme. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I do really... Oh my god, Gildaris, the red appreciator. I will say, I've talked about this before, but the color red has really grown on me lately. Like, I've been the blue guy for so long, and now I look at blue, I'm kind of bored by it, and red kind of fills me with, like, excitement. I'm kind of like, man, red is kind of nice, and it's kind of comfortable. It's kind of warm and cozy. Like, now I think of, like, a, I don't know, like a cabin in the winter, and feeling that warmth from the fire. That's what red makes me think of. And it used to just be evil. It used to be stop. I keep throwing these by accident. I don't mean to do that. I'm hiding behind this instead now. Also, I really like the combat in this game. I don't think I have a lot to say about the combat, really, other than I like it. Actually, I would say I kind of prefer the combat. I guess I do have a lot to say. I think I kind of prefer it over, like, the turn-based combat. I'm glad you catered the stream to my interests more. Man, it's so easy. I'm gonna cater everything more and more after every single viewer. And in time, I will become Mr. Beast. I can have, like, my own little algorithm. Please like me, please like me, please like me. I made 3,000 Marios fight 3,000 Luigis. Wouldn't Mario win? How did you accomplish this? This is my first question. Second question, don't we all know that Mario would win? Oh my god, I picked the wrong move. I know. Now I know that I am the Mario streamer. You know what? Because I'm playing Pokemon, and I was thinking, wow, there will be no Mario discussions today. And yet here I am, and people are coming in, being like, Matthias, Matthias, please. Mario, Mario, Mario. And you know what? I can't help but give it to the people. No, it's fine. It's true, I have become the Mario streamer. I'm sorry for even mentioning him. Keep his name out your frickin' mouth. No, I didn't want to commit to the bit and swear. Do you think Mario would have a fire starter and Luigi would have a grass starter? You know what? I think... Wouldn't they both have fire starters? Because Luigi doesn't have, like, grass powers, right? He's just a guy who's green. Like, they both shoot fire. Are you really fighting with an all-Magikarp team? What? Alright. You do you. How come there's a blue Mario brother? We don't talk about him. Isn't Mario technically more blue than he is red because of his, like, overalls? Have you ever thought about that? Can I look this up at a scale? Actually, you know what? Let me look this up right now. Let's put Mario back on the screen. Here's the one Mario appearance for today. And I'll show Mario on the screen just to appease the people. Look at him. Isn't that more blue than red, but we think of Mario as red? It's dark blue? It's like, it's not even navy blue, it's just blue. Scary stuff. It's not really scary. Weird stuff. That's how powerful red is, though. You can use red as a contrast. And instead, red becomes the dominant color. My god. I do, in my head, all I can think of is, like, Northern Lion, and his breakdown of Pokemon and Pokemon battles, which was like, he compared it to people playing, like, rock, paper, scissors, and people being like, what move do I use against paper? Let's see, I could use rock, but, oh, of course, scissors. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. All this game is like advanced rock, paper, scissors. But you know, you know what, maybe we need more of that. Like, maybe that is like the next Pokemon. Oh my god, what if I did this? Firestarter fighting blue guy? Yeah, I think maybe we need to do the same thing, but with like old kinds of games like that. We need to make it more advanced and make it into like monsters fighting other monsters. If you grind enough, rock can win against paper is the thing. Exactly. Like, what is another game like that is like rock, paper, scissors? But not. I can't think of a single one. Isn't it all, isn't every game rock, paper, scissors in the end? Maybe that's something to think about. Soccer. I say soccer, but I'm not even American. Football. Rich coming from a guy that only plays roguelites where you pick 1 to 3 every time you level up. That is fair, that is true. Rich coming from a guy who flips coins on stream and calls it a game. Imagine being able to sneak attack with rock in rock, paper, scissors and being like, no, I took out your freaking rock because I sneaked attack with scissors. Rich coming from a guy that jumps and gets coins and says wahoo. I mean, that's just an ideal video game. There's been so many Mario copies, and no one has been able to beat Mario. And they don't say wahoo, and that's a problem. What does Crash say? Wow! What does Sonic say? Alright! I don't... What? They all have, like, catchphrases, but nothing can ultimately compare to wahoo. Circling back to Mario makes me lose my mind, man. I'm sorry. That one's on me. Talk about a low-budget flight. Did I ever talk about that? Like, what inspired the video, the Personality Machine? Which was, I think I have talked about this, but I think it's kind of fascinating. Which was that I watched a movie on a flight, and I did not get to finish it. I did not see the ending. Hello, Steezy. Hello, hello. I did not finish a film on a flight. And I kept thinking for so long about, like, what the hell could the ending to the movie be? So much that to a point I ended up, like, just writing fan fiction, essentially, which became that video. But, like, what? How would you end that film? And then finally, like, a year after, I somehow managed to, like, find the film. And I got to see the ending, and I was so disappointed. It could not compare to my 1 year worth of fan fiction I had written for this film. And it wasn't even a good film. So the film was about, like, the Prime Minister of Japan. It was on my flight to home from Japan. I saw this film about the Prime Minister of Japan losing his memory and becoming like an amnesiac. He did not even recall being the Prime Minister, and he did not know anything about politics. And he lost his memory, and people are like, oh no, he lost his memory, but we'll just keep it hidden. People can't know, for whatever reason.
But yes!
Whoa. That completely caught me off guard. I completely lost track. So the Prime Minister of Japan loses his memory. And people are like, we need to keep this hidden. And the Prime Minister has to relearn how politics work. And it was such an interesting concept because the Prime Minister was a really unlikable guy who was extremely corrupt. He had a 4% approval rating. And the whole point of the film was like, can someone come back from that and become like a good politician again? Someone who is corrupt. And they completely threw it all away at the end. By just making it like, oh, actually he was aware the whole time. He didn't actually lose his memory. It's like, that sucks. That you completely ruined the whole point of the whole film. And instead the ending became like a super preachy thing. Of like, the director was basically saying like, see? He was talking to the Prime Minister of Japan like, see, you could just be a good guy if you feel like it. Which is so stupid. It's not how people work. It's not convincing. Anyway, that was my rant about an extremely specific movie that you can see, that it could be seen at one point on a flight, however long ago, 5 years ago. And even now I think about that film. It's so weird, so disappointing. But I do feel like that's like an interesting way to write scripts, right? Like, maybe you really dislike something, and that inspires you to write like a better version of it. I mean, that kind of also happened with Big Mask. Like, I've never been into like superhero stuff, and I was like, what if I did it, though? What if I wrote like superhero stuff? Okay, it's not even that you hyped the ending so much in your mind that the ending would disappoint you and then the twist just sucked. Yeah, pretty much. I feel like, for one, the ending just sucked. And it kind of ruined the whole premise of the film. Like, why would you write a movie about someone losing their memory, and then it turns out, oh, he knew the entire time? Why not make it interesting? Anyway, Pokemon. I was so close to saying Mario. I've just been so used to, like, bringing the topic back to Mario, but I'm like, anyway, back to Mario. Why did he even fake it? I think it was something about, like, using it as, like, an opportunity to learn or something like that. I don't even remember the logic behind it, because I think part of it was just, like, it made no sense. Or part of it was just, like, I was so upset that I just was occupied in my mind of, like, this sucks. I'm withholding myself from even bringing up Mario. I'm glad you're doing it yourself. Aw, man. I will allow bringing up Mario. Alright? As long as I don't say this is a Mario-free zone. Actually, that was... that was actually what I was thinking of naming the stream earlier, like, an hour ago. Like, this is a Mario-free stream. We do not talk about Mario. But even then, I was like, you know, even as a bit, that would not hold up. I would not be able to, like, hold myself to that. So yeah, I like this game so far. Do you think if Mario lost his memory, he would go on to become the Prime Minister of Japan? It's entirely possible. Let me write a new fanfiction. Mario loses his memory, and he's like, I was a good guy, and everyone tells him, yes, you were a good guy. God damn it, even now I'm doing Mario improv. Mario loses his memory. Everyone tells him, you were a good guy. And he's like, yes, yes. Okay, what is that? What is a good guy? What does it mean to be a good guy? And everyone's like, oh, you do good, you better everyone. And he's like, oh, like a politician? I mean, politicians can be good guys. Oh my god, no, wait, this is way too high level, I didn't even notice. Let's run away. So maybe Mario would actually lose his memory and be too afraid to fight people because he has no memory of, like, why do you mean jump on turtles? That sounds horrible. I think that his personality is pretty innate and primal. Maybe, actually. Because we did establish this last stream in the Mario lore, that maybe Mario does not think. Maybe he does not have thoughts. So maybe Mario losing his, like, memory would not affect anything, because there's nothing to be lost. He's always acting on instinct. So even though his personal life would be impacted, he might do the same thing he usually does. Yeah, I did. There was another thing that I said as a one-liner last stream, which was like, oh, imagine like a Mario conlang. Like a constructed language made out of Mario's phrases and ways of thinking. Which is like, wahoo, mamma mia, and you make a whole language out of that. Like, how do you say yes in Mario conlang? It's like, wahoo, yippee! It could work, I don't know. I think you would have to like really simplify it. It's like, I eat spaghetti would be like, Wahee! Spaghetti! No, this is the worst that I've ever done. I'm editing this part out of the VOD, actually. That was embarrassing. It's bad. Oh my god, I got a monkey. Oh my god, I got a monkey. Let's not bring out Mario ever again, actually. Now Mario is banned. One of the 3 monkeys. Oh my god. Actually was inspired by Pokemon when I made my 2 monkeys painting video at the designs. Because I was like, what is the best, like, monkey design? And I ended up looking at a lot of, like, monkey Pokemon. And I was like, yeah, I gotta do it. A reoccurring theme in, like, Pokemon designs is, like, the circle on the stomach. Can I show what I'm talking about? He kinda has it. I guess it's maybe more like the original 151. A lot of them have, like, a circle on their stomach. And that's like something I have picked up as a theme. I mean, you don't have it either, but it is a reoccurring theme that I quite like. Not everyone. But when I see it, I'm like, I like that. And I ended up embracing that when I draw monkeys nowadays. Well, that's animals in general, I think. I guess so. Bonjour. Would you like to imagine everyone in this game having a French accent? Or can we just, like, memory hold that? Just be like, I do not perceive it. Oh yeah, I should go back to that one kid so I can beat him up. Let's get to it. Let's battle. That's mini-me. That's just me, but small and teeny tiny. Kill this child. I'll do it. I have to do it for Pokemon. Also, I really like the music in this game. I think this is the best that Pokemon has ever sounded. That's a word, right? Sounded. Like, I don't think I've encountered any song that I really just like. Let's get to it. Oh my god, Godget. Kadabra. Classic. But how about this? Charmed. Now tackled. Amber. So exciting. I wonder if Toby Fox made some song. He did do that with the Sword and Shield, didn't he? He made like one song for that game. Oh my god, he's strong. Damn. It's a little too high energy for my taste. I can see that for sure. Oh, he did for Scarlet. Okay, okay. He's very popular in Japan, Toby Fox. So I can see it. Just a little bit of focus. Just a teeny tiny amount. But I really prefer this combat. Like, if every future Pokemon game had this kind of combat, I would not complain. I would be like, this is awesome. I'm so floored or surprised by how well Pokemon works with real-time combat. And I've seen a lot of people complain about the combat, but I can only think, like, really? You wanna... I mean, I do like turn-based combat, but I'm kind of like, I kind of dig this way more. I think it's awesome. Ah, you're out. Never mind, it sucks. I prefer turn-based too, I don't know why. No, I do like turn-based, but that was probably like my biggest worry about this game is like, will the combat be okay? Will it be alright? And now that I'm playing it, I'm like, this is awesome. I really dig it. Croissant curry. Stand alone nicely, but together we're less than the sum of the parts. I feel like that looks kind of good. Oh my god, she's so cute. I really like when games are like very character focused. Like, World of... I think this is what comes to mind as like the worst offender of storytelling. World of Warcraft, where every single expansion is like the world is ending. A new force is invading the planet and we have to defeat them again. It's like nothing matters anymore. Nothing means anything. How many evil world-ending forces could there be in the universe? And why does it keep happening every year? Maybe the universe was not supposed to exist at that point. So I do really like when it's just like, here's a character and let's explore that. Someone said this like a long time ago about one of my videos, which I took as like a bit of a compliment. Which was like, there's no I don't know, this was maybe like a teenager being like confounded by my videos. And he said like, there's like no fighting or combat in your videos. But it's very exciting anyway. And I took that as a compliment to be like, oh, I like that. Because I felt like in a way that was like fighting is more exciting with words. Right? Does that make sense? Like, it's not exciting. I've never been... maybe not never. But I've never just felt like I love fighting in movies or games. Fighting for the sake of fighting. Fighting has to, like, represent something in a weird way. It has to mean something. Fighting exists as, like, a supplementary thing to something else. Fighting in, like, Revenge of the Sith. Alright? Pretty good. It can be fun sometimes, but if there's too much of it or no meaning behind it, I don't really care. Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to think of when have I been, like, captivated by fighting. It's not really meant too much. That might be Freddy vs. Jason. That was a movie where it's just, like, fighting for the sake of fighting. But also, even then, it's, like, supplementing something else going on, right? You want to see Freddy and Jason duke it out, and you want to see who wins. That's why I find a lot of shonens exhausting, kind of stupid, yeah. Like, power scaling, right? That's what it's called? I can only think power scaling is like the most boring thing in the universe. I guess that means the conflict is explored and projected for more rare and intricate means, yeah. My throat is kind of dry. I need to drink more water. I don't get the power scaling community. It's just like number big. It's like me inventing a... Imagine if I made a video where it's like, I said, here's a guy who's really powerful, and his power is this 1 million. But then another guy shows up, and he has 1,000,001 as his power. Do you think anyone would like that? Would people be like, holy shit? I don't get the, like, culture behind that. And there's, like, entire, like, communities and, like, subreddits and stuff like that dedicated to just the phenomenon of who is more powerful. What about story? Do you guys not care about the characters? Just who is powerful? It's also kind of lame to make strength such a linear thing. I think so. I do have, like, a lot of thoughts on strength, and this is very specific, okay? But in, like, Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy, it's so lame to me when it's, like, a knight or a fighter, and he's powerful because he's, like, strong. To me, I think the most I do like knights and people who fight with swords and stuff like that. But I don't find them fascinating because it's like, oh, they're powerful and they have big sword and they're strong. Like, I really want to get into, like, the mentality of, like, strategy. Like, I want to see more knights and more, like, fighters in fantasy and D&D who are just, like, obsessed with strategy and strategists, and they're kind of like... They might not be the strongest looking guy, but they are able to, like, confront things and fight through maneuvering and thinking things through. Like, I don't want to see a guy just beat people up. I want to see a guy enter, like, a bar and use the environment against his enemies, right? And that's something I want to explore more in, like, D&D and stuff like that, if I play a fighter again. Maybe you intentionally, like, weaken yourself and have, like, a weak fighter. I actually had this as an idea for a video, but I thought it would be, like, way too complicated to do. And it was called something like, it was basically an isekai parody. But I did not really want to make an isekai parody that just turned into an isekai. I thought, like, that's a bit too much. There's a lot of isekais like that already, right? But the idea of the story, or the video, was called, I'm a level 1 fighter, and I can't figure out how to level up. And it's a guy who's reborn in a typical isekai fashion into an MMO kind of world, right? And he's a fighter, and he's level 1, and he's like, I can't figure out how to level up, and people are like, oh, but it's so easy, you should just, like, see the thing pop up. And he's like, I can't see it. And he keeps, like, grinding, and he's stuck as level 1. And people can't figure out what's wrong. It's just, like, not showing up how to level up for him. So the entire story has to be like, here's a fighter, someone who fights with swords and stuff like that, and he has to adapt to being a level 1, and he has to stick around as a fighter. And it has to involve stuff like taking down enemies, but being able to, how should I put it, position things to an advantage without using pure strength. One example might be like, what is the most powerful, strongest thing around? Holy shit, that's an Eevee. I haven't seen an Eevee yet. Like, if you imagine, what is the strongest thing that you can have to your advantage in the ground? Dude, now I spoiled it. Forget I said that word. Imagine, what is the strongest thing you could have to your advantage if you ended up in a fight on the streets? Actually, banger concept, Matthias, thank you. I will never make this, because it's too much. I don't like isekai. I don't want to make an isekai. But I do think it's a kind of neat concept. If you ended up in a fight in the streets, the most advantageous thing you could use would be the ground. Like, the ground is like the most powerful thing you could use in a way. And it's so... I mean, I experienced this not too long ago, because I fucking fell on the ground and fractured my ribs. And even now I'm in pain from that. Not as much, but a little bit. But the ground is like... People underestimate just how powerful the ground is, and how strong it is, and how you can take advantage of that in a fight. And just like the core concept of like the ground changing in different areas, and like positioning an army or people in different areas based on the ground, it's going to have like a huge like determination on a battle. And this is the kind of thing you could explore in that kind of story or isekai, right? And then also just like choice of weapon and stuff like that, where it's like a guy like that would not end up using a sword. Like, what is the weakest weapon that would be the most effective? It would probably be like, well, spear, I guess, which is a bit of a boring answer, because I mean, maybe it's boring because I love spears already. Maybe a lot of people just think spears are boring as a weapon. I think they're boring because I love them so much. So I keep making characters with spears. But what could you do beyond that? He would literally be looking to cheese his opponents in a way. Yeah, and he has to stick to the concept of being a level 1. So actually being in a real fight, he would just lose, right? I think maybe you could change that, actually, and have it be a staff. A wooden pole would actually be better for him, because there's a lot of things you could do with a staff. And it would not look too intimidating. Like, you could bring in a staff to, like, a bar and stuff like that. And even a spear would be, like, too intimidating. If you bring in a spear to a bar, people would be like, that's not allowed. Take that outside. Wooden staff, you could allow that anywhere. Anyway, yeah. But also, writing that kind of story involves, like, a lot of research and stuff, right? I didn't just want to make it around, like, one concept and then go with that. You would have to do, like, a lot of research into fighting and stuff like that, fighting styles. That's also a whole different thing. What else was I thinking of? I was thinking of something else that required a lot of research. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. Do you think Mario is just a level 1 dude? And he kind of discovered jumping on enemies was overpowered? Yeah. Kinda, yeah. That might be it. Actually, that reminds me of something game dev related, I guess. Where it's like, I have not done any kind of game development. But I think there is something like, well, I've heard this from game dev friends, right? where a lot of people get into game dev and they're like, they figure out how to program one thing, and they're like, oh my god, I managed to make like a guy move around and jump around. Now I can make a game. And then they end up making their entire game into that one thing they have learned. And I feel like that's like a very common trap that everyone fall into in a way. You learn one thing, and because of that, you kind of like work around that, and that's all you do. And I think that's also a different like thing you can involve in that kind of story, where over time that guy would have to like get into the psychology of what people have learned as fighting. Sorry, I've not experienced rain before in this game. I didn't know it could rain. No, wait, did I? No, this is the first time it's raining in this game for me. I'm shocked. I'm bewildered. My god. How beautiful. And maybe Mario is also just like that. I'm kind of interested in game dev. And that's also like why... I don't know, I feel a bit weird about people criticizing this game and being like, the entire city is one model, right? Have people heard about this? You guys heard about this? This entire city in this game is one single 3D model. And people have been like, oh, that's like so weird or funny or whatever. But all I can think is like, I don't know enough about game dev to say like that's a bad thing or is that a good thing or whatever. Like, I would feel like a fraud if I made fun of this game and it was like, oh my god, it's only one model. I don't know, maybe that's good. Maybe it should be that way. Like, why is it a bad thing? And I can't find anyone explaining, like, why it's a bad thing. They're all just saying, it's one single model, can you believe it? I genuinely want to know why. I want to figure it out. I want to know. I will say, my biggest criticism might just be, like, the city is not very, like, varied. Like, I'm not able to tell where I am in the city based on this environment right now. But I do like it. Where am I? Okay, I'm down here. I thought actually I was in the north. Depending on the city you visit, can be kind of hard IRL too. That's true. I mean, I was with my friend from Australia, and he traveled from Stockholm to Gothenburg, Copenhagen, and he was like, I would not be able to tell the difference between these cities. They're all the same to me. Like, if you woke me up in any of these places, I would not be able to tell them apart. And I think I would be able to, but I think that's because I'm Scandinavian, right? Frankly, it's harder to make a larger city that's so memorable. It's easy to know what street you're on. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's probably possible, right? You could have some hints, but it would not look like a real city then at that point, right? Like, there could have been more visual cues of, like, you're in the southern part, you're in the northern part, east and west. But it's not a huge deal breaker. This is pretty, like, kind of neat, though. Like, it does expand the city, that there's, like, different, like, times and days. I am a bit sad seeing, like, how much criticism this game is getting. Oh my god, Houndour, what the hell? I love you! And I did talk about this earlier. Like, it's very easy to criticize a game that you haven't played and make money of that. It makes me a little bit frightened of, like, the future of, like, game reviews and stuff like that. If everyone's just gonna do, like, the cheap thing, where they don't even play the game, but they're just like, oh, everyone else is saying it's bad. Here's me repeating what everyone else have been saying. Day one review. And then people hide behind that, and it's like, oh, but am I not allowed to criticize? It's like, you are. But you're also just repeating what everyone else are saying. You're not adding anything to the discussion at that point. Okay, that's enough criticism. That's enough defense words, Pokemon defense words for today. I like the game. Oh my god. Phone? Oh, I think I know what this might be, actually. This part was spoiled to me. And I'm on it. You can get the original starter Pokemon in this game. And I think this might be happening right now at this very moment. Like, if you're out for views, you're not gonna be reviewing Pikmin or something, yeah. What if I said Balan Wonderworld is like a misunderstood game and it's actually good? Actually, that would also be a different kind of rage baiting, I don't know. That would also be kind of like going for views in a weird way. I kind of wanted to make like a video on Balan Wonderworld. I might come back to streaming that. I'm strangely fascinated by it. Oh my god, look at this. What the hell? My predecessor left me a little bit of work. Alright, alright. Get to it, get to it. Go on, choose one. Okay, that was quick. That was quicker than I thought it would be. Oh boy. My gut is telling me Bulbasaur. I feel like if a game is more popular, it's automatically going to generate more noise. Yeah. I do feel like you could make a review of Pikmin now, though. It's Bulbasaur. I can feel it in my gut. Like, I think people come back to Nintendo games more often. So it's, in a weird way, like, always, like, consistent. Alright, I got him. That was I thought it would be a bit more. Oh my god, I can evolve 2 Pokemon as well. What the hell? Oh my, that's an amazing picture, actually. He's just up in the air. Why is he looking like that? Everyone else is like, everyone else are normal. What if I... I was kind of thinking, what if I just go back to playing Mario right now? Alright, that's enough Pokemon. I kind of want to. No, we could have one Mario free stream. What? I did get Bulbasaur. Look at him go. He's very cute. Very nice. Can I can't pet him, unfortunately. Big criticism, actually. Can I ask you a kind of complicated question regarding game reviews? Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm kind of new to it myself, right? So I'm still learning. I used to ride Skiddo all over the city when I was little. Nostalgia bait. I kind of want to make a video about nostalgia in the future as well. Because I feel like... I don't know. I used to hate nostalgia. I used to just be like passionately, strongly against nostalgia in a weird way. And now I'm the complete opposite, where I'm like, nostalgia is healthy and good for you, actually. Back then, I was like, only man-children are like involved with nostalgia, and you should avoid it. Well, since gaming has only been a mainstream hobby for around 15 years, where previously it was a nerd niche, naturally there's going to be a broader reach for like 5th and 6th generation consoles. So yeah. Is it going to be a question about mainstream versus niche? I don't like the Trilby. It's just a fedora, but with a different name. Man, even now my throat is like a bit scratchy, unfortunately. I think it's getting better. So do you think content creation is going to be pandered to that specific generation of first mainline game enjoyers? Like, you'll see a lot of videos going, Pokemon Red was the peak. Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like, well, I feel like this is kind of like going into like a broader topic of content creation, right? Where I feel as if the niche is always going to be better to aim for in a weird way. Like, this is a complicated question, but I don't know if I can, like, or answer or whatever. I don't know if I can fully answer it, even. If your aim with content creation is, like, I'm gonna appeal to everyone, it's probably going to flop. It's probably not gonna be good. And the best thing you can do is go in for a niche. And that's not always gonna be successful, right? But it is the best thing you could do to be a content creator. And I think within the like framing of gaming, I think that would be the perfect way to do it in a weird way. Like, I guess I am kind of like that as well, right? Like, I'm just like doing stuff, talking about it from my perspective, but all of that is going to be affected by my generation unintentionally, right? And I don't think that's bad. I think that's good. Like, what inspired my Pokemon video was just like watching someone else make a video about Sonic. My friend Ajax made like a 3-hour video about his journey experiencing Sonic and Sonic games. And I really liked that video because it was like so personal. No one else could ever make a video like that. Other people would make a video about Sonic and going through every Sonic and be like, and then this was released, and this came out this year, and this happened. And he made a video like that, but through his personal journey, which meant like, it was not like structured in a specific order. It wasn't like done in a formal way. Holy shit, he's level 38? No, I shouldn't even bother. Why am I can't stop. I think going personal is always going to be the biggest way to approach like content creation. Maybe more than anything, right? Like, the best niche you can ever approach is, like, doing what's personal. I don't know if you're asking this from a perspective of, like, you want to, like, get into content creation. Or maybe it's more just, like, a general question about it. But I do think... I'm kind of just repeating myself, I guess. I feel like you answered my question really nicely for how bad I feel. Okay. That's good. I do think anyone can make content creation. It's another thing. Like, I remember when I first started making YouTube videos, I thought like, oh, my voice is like too bad to do YouTube stuff. I can't make videos because my voice is bad. And if you go back and hear my first videos, my voice is bad. It's after every sentence in my first video, I sound like well, it's not my first video, but it's my first like viral hit. What was it? Why your art teacher hates your anime art video. After every sentence in that video, I sound like I'm about to start crying. But I do think that is also a skill. I think a lot of people are turned off by their voice, and they're like, oh, I have a bad voice, so I can't do it. And they don't realize, like, that is a skill, because, like, you will go back and hear your own voice, and you will be like, oh, this sounds bad, therefore, I should never do it. When really, you can listen to it and be like, you know, I can, like... you can self-reflect in a weird way. And it's not really the case that, like, everyone can, like, develop to have, like, an amazing voice or anything like that, but you can work with your voice. Like, you can work with what works with your voice, and, like, that will always be the best also. Just work with, like, what goes well. Like, maybe I should... I've had people I've known who have gotten into content creation, and they've been really insecure about their voice, so they have put on, like, a fake voice. It's kind of weird to hear that from the, like, a real perspective. Like, I know what your voice is like, and you don't sound like that. Why are you putting on that voice? And I think that is also a thing that you kind of learn with time. Oh my god. People are out in the park so early. That was me in Japan. Because I didn't have anywhere to sit and eat. I mean, I've put off creating anything involving my own voice for this exact reason. Yeah, I don't think you should be, like, afraid of, like, having a bad voice, if that's, like, a thing. So, the number one thing I would actually advise might actually be editing, right? Like, if you listen to my videos on my main channel, like, my voice is, like, edited in a very specific way, where it's like, I do think I sound like myself, but I'm editing my voice to be, like, a bit more quick. Because if you hear me now, I take a lot of, like, long pauses, and I stutter at times, and I speak a bit, like, incoherently about random topics. And all of that can very easily go away if I'm editing, and just editing with timing. I think timing is maybe the number one thing, right? Just edit your voice with timing in mind, and you can remove a lot of the things that makes it seem, like, awkward. And then work with that, and you can make it seem really natural, and people will go like, wow, he's just a normal guy. The magic of post-production, so true. Editing is, like, everything, I think, maybe, potentially. That was the most insecure, confident sentence. It's everything, potentially, possibly, maybe not. I don't want to, like, pump myself up too hard and be like, I'm the best. I'm only doing it from the perspective of things I like. Oh shit, I should not be fighting with you. You're like level 5. Oh my god, I should not be fighting. I forgot I had you on my team. Whoops. Oh, I picked the worst Pokemon. Oh my god, my team is terrible. I forgot to change it back. That made me think of a music producer that went mixing is more important and subsequently doesn't matter at all. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I don't really know enough about music production to comment on it. But I am very well aware of how important, like, mixing and, like, production is in music. And I think you should approach, making content in the same way, but not in the sense of, like, oh, the production needs improvement. Not in the sense of, like, it needs to sound as good as music, right? Because that's weird. Don't do it like that. It will sound really weird. However, you could do all that with the mindset of, like, I'm editing my own voice as if I were listening to music. Does that make sense? Like, you want it to actually, like, speak in a rhythm that keeps people, like, interested and invested in what you're talking about. So that might mean that at times you like cut yourself off in a weird way that sounds awkward. That's not how normal people talk. But it makes sense for someone listening to the video that you end one sentence and then immediately go into another. Because they don't need to like process what you're talking about as if they were having a real conversation. I feel that's partially voice and partially scripting yourself. Yeah, I don't know enough to even comment on what I'm talking about properly or like give a proper analysis to all of this. Neither of them. Screw you guys. Come again? Saying you're not bothered by status conditions in the slightest? That's me. How about it? They learned an important lesson. I do want to, like, get better at certain stuff with video production and editing and stuff like that. Like, I really need to learn Adobe After Effects. It's a big thing. It's not just about strength, you also gotta think about tight matchups. Yeah. I think that Pokemon's strength depends a lot on the orders. Yeah. How about you? How can you tell when a Pokemon is strong? Alright. No, you have not learned the right lesson yet. I have not been here yet, have I? Have I been here before? This is actually quite nice, this area. Do I have any other topic? Mario. Luigi. I was just gonna shut up and see how long it takes you to bring up Mario again. Man, I really need... I love that it was only 15 seconds. I don't know if this is a problem. I might have developed like a Mario disorder or something. Personality Mario disorder. Matthias disorder. Maybe I could get my own disorder named after me. He's such a fascinating guy, I can't help myself. I do actually want to play a Sonic stream. I want to play a Sonic game on stream in the future. But I don't know. it's... Still don't know how to exit this bit. It's gonna... It might go on forever, I'm afraid. And I've said this before, Sonic has too much personality. There's too little to work with at this point. Oh my god, it's you. How about I go you, actually? I feel like I should be scared. I need to, like, speak to a doctor about this or something. And say, like, yeah, I have a, like, maybe I should see a therapist and be like... Actually, this would be a really good bit. Oh my god, can you imagine going to therapy just for a bit? And be like... So I have a personality disorder, I think, but I think it might be new. I've talked to people and they don't know what to think of it, and my therapist is like, okay, well, what is your problem? I can't help myself from bringing up Super Mario, no matter what. It's okay. Well, you know, there's a lot of ways you can work with that. You can think of like predetermined topics potentially. Maybe you could start with Mario, but then branch into other topics. But I feel like it doesn't actually work, and when I can think of nothing, it all comes back to Mario. But then I just end up having... I would just have a real conversation about why Mario is fascinating with my therapist. Maybe they would just agree and be like, you know what, Mario is cool. I think you have nothing to be afraid of. I think a therapist would not see that as a problem, actually. Or, I am kind of curious. I need to look up therapy so I can experiment and do this. Just be... in character, have a real therapist session and be like, I can't stop talking about Mario, just so I can find out what would a therapist actually think. And I think most therapists would be like, this is not a real problem that you should be concerned with, and you're free to talk about Mario. But some of them would be like, here's how we can work with this. Oh my lord, the funnest part about that bit would be a therapist coming up with suggestions on how to drift away from Mario, and you keep bringing up Mario for the remainder of the session. Maybe then they would just be like, shut up, stop. And they have like a moment. And they're like, I've been trying to help you this entire time, and you keep bringing up Mario. And I'm saying like, yeah, that's my problem. I can't stop myself. And he's like, well, just stop. This is not a real problem. Did you go to therapy for a bit? No. It kind of seems like you're here for a bit. It's not a bit. Can't stop talking about Mario. Okay. Then your therapist gets frustrated and just breaks out in tears. Then I found out he's actually like a Sonic fan. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, do you want to see my Sonic OC? I do. Do you have a Mario OC? Not yet. Not yet. That's a big problem, actually. It's really difficult. Now I'm just doing Mario again without Mario. And it feels really fucked up. How am I not talking about I feel like I've spent more time talking about Mario in this Let's Play, this stream, than I've spent talking about Pokemon. After like 7 sessions, he just completely gives up. It just becomes a weekly routine to discuss Mario with him. I'm going on stream to talk about Mario, then I'm going to therapy, so I can speak less about Mario. And that's my life. Anyway, Mario. Isn't it messed up how it's so difficult to make a Mario OC? Where would you even start from? Like, do you really want to be a Mario brother as an OC? Do you want to be human? Do you want to be a Goomba? What kind of guy in the Mario universe can you look at and be like, that? I want to make an OC and he's like that. You're Machi, right? I've seen you talk about Mario. Yep, that's me. I've been such a huge fan of Mario, you know? I've been having a blast. I just love testing out Mario. Kinda weird to see a kid like Mario. Maybe too many green Marios are joining in. I'm thinking Mario. That's right, Mario. Alright, Mario. Like a quirky, shy guy, I could see that. But what if it had to be like more original, but to a point where people are like... it's recognizably a Mario OC, but it's original enough that it's not just something in Mario. You would have to think of like a real like game designer or art director at that point. It's like too complicated. It's like making a Mario OC might be like having a real job or something. I know what my guy would I know what my Mario OC would be. It would be a little guy, and he would be a painter, and he's like, I love painting. Maybe he doesn't have to have an accent. I don't have to get an accent. He could just talk like a normal guy. And he's like, I love painting. And his whole gimmick is like he paints paintings, and then he enters the paintings or something like that. That works. Hold on, I need to put some text here, I think. New rule added to the stream. Okay. Can I move this? How did it's not allowing me to move. Oh wait, I'm clicking on the Switch screen being like, why can't I move this text? What the hell? I'm stupid. New rule. Isn't... No, I can't read that sentence actually. Ah, Pokemon. What a fun little game. I love the little guys and how they fight. Can you imagine? My life is a hollow shell. I feel like such a fraud. I feel like I'm not myself. I feel like I'm just pretending. I feel like a character playing in an act. This is a theatrical play. It's fucked up because I actually use one screen to like look at my own footage, and I'm just seeing this text there no matter what. It's not only on stream, this is how I perceive the actual gameplay of a game. Oh, look at you. Can you imagine a blue guy? Cool design. Can you imagine if this kind of design existed in a game? And he was blue. I love Pokemon. So cool. Pikachu. I have nothing. I have nothing. My life is a void. I don't know. This is a legitimate problem. No, I don't. Oh my god, a monkey, another monkey. Look, monkey. I did it. One move. Just like that. I was always gonna say something. I need to change my colors. Everything makes me think of him. Somehow a video about colors is making a lot more sense the more streams I visit. Interesting. How fascinating. I can see that. You ever got tested for ADHD or something? I have not, actually. Would I have? Would I have it? I think I would probably be like, if I had to guess, I would probably be on the spectrum, but probably not seriously enough to have like a full diagnosis. Like, and I do actually think, well, I've seen people bring this up as like a problem, right? Where it's like, a lot of people are on the spectrum of a disorder or something like that. And that means they don't get treated because it's not seriously enough to get treated for. But then they end up suffering as a result of that, right? Does that make sense? And I could see that. I could see that being the case for sure. Where it's like, I don't have full ADHD. But maybe I should be looking for like some way to treat the part of it that I get, right? Anyway, fun game. Oh my god. Big guy. Oh my god, I have so many candies now. Even now, it's all I can think of. Candy. What do you think a rare candy tastes like? The way it's medically defined is that you don't suffer from an affliction as long as it doesn't impact you in a major way. I can see that. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh yeah, maybe I could use it on you. I don't actually know enough about it to say how it affects anything. If I have it. What it all means. There's tons of people out there that are autistic, ADHD, whatever, but since it has an impact of their life, they aren't eligible for diagnosis. Yeah, I can see that. Maybe I should change your moves. I could see myself as having, like, a bit of ADHD, a bit of autism, a bit on the spectrum for various things. Maybe I used to be a bit OCD, sure. I got over it. I did actually have, like... Maybe that wouldn't be too surprising, right? And I did get, like, treatment for it in a way, where it's sort of like I looked up resources for it, and that ended up helping. So I was like, well, I got help, and helped out. So now I guess I don't have it anymore. There's a lot of gray areas and details here, and I'm not able to fully explain it. Yeah, no pressure, right? Chat, give me a full medical diagnosis. Could I see the abstract of the various studies, please? Pokemon. Pokemon. I want to see more Pokemon movies. That's a topic. I've seen 3... No, wait, which one's that? I've seen the first 2. Then I saw the Diamond and Pearl one, just randomly. It was being shown in a Discord, and I was like, sure, why not? I'll watch it. I don't know, is there a single good Pokemon movie? Oh yeah, I did see Detective Pikachu also. It was okay, I guess. The ending to Detective Pikachu is really weird. I kind of respect it for how weird it is, up until the very end, where I'm like, now it entered like a weird territory that I do not like. Is it okay to spoil Detective Pikachu? Is it old enough yet? I'll just say, could have been better, right? I do think it maybe isn't like, how should I put it? I really like the kinds of streams that I do, where I basically just do like improv comedy for 2 hours. And I guess... No, fuck, no, I have to end this. I guess Mario is perfect for that. Alright, I broke my own rule. I have no clue how long that took. But that is genuinely something that I really like about streaming. And I like that approach. I have to remove a text now. I broke my rule. And I think that is why I actually think this kind of game is not good for streaming, or like my kind of stream. What am I doing? Like, I'm not even paying attention right now. Okay, I don't have enough points. Okay, I was not paying attention to that last bit. I was just like, okay, ready to fight, skip. And I think that's why, like, this kind of stream is not technically, like, what I do on stream, or, like, this kind of game. But I also think it's there's space for that kind of streaming, that kind of game, right? It's like, every single stream I do does not have to be improv comedy. Sometimes I can just relax a bit, play a game. There's space for that. And I guess I don't have a lot to say other than I like this game. But it's also, I'm just chilling. I'm a chill guy. If you ain't chilling, you're wasting your time. Different games seem to have different energies to them, for sure. It's kind of interesting to explore that, right? Like, there's a lot of games that I like, but I think are not good for streaming, like Yakuza. Love the Yakuza series. But I learned from streaming that, like, oh, this is actually, like, not the kind of stream I want to do, though. I guess that's a common theme with RPGs in general, where it's like, something I could see myself streaming if it's just, like, me grinding. But that's also not, like, super interesting either, as a viewer, I guess. It's more like a check-in of, like, here's where I am in this game, for anyone else who's interested. Some are actually more fit to just yap over inspired non-Mario related topics. Yeah, I think I need that. Maybe that is a good point, actually. I just need to explore my game library for streaming and find another game that is not Mario adjacent that is good for yapping. What could that be? Is it Sonic? Maybe not. I considered actual streaming in my OSRS grinds. What is OSRS? It has the kind of like vibe of like a rhythm game. Old school RuneScape. Oh, okay. I was completely off. I was like, oh, that sounds like something like that. Absolutely not. I think anything is technically like good for streaming. It's just like how you approach it, right? What kind of thing do you want out of your stream? Like there was a while where I was thinking like, oh, should streaming be like my secondary thing to my YouTube channel? And that would be cool, but I also think it would be wrong to approach my streaming from that. Mine is occupied with other things. Yeah. I mean, I thought about streaming for like 2 years before I picked it up. So there's always time, I think. Maybe. Hopefully. I'm an artist and came here to sketch the scenery for a piece that will no doubt take first place. But behold. Yeah. Oh, that's why I couldn't, like, remove that. I'm hoping to maybe stream actually on Twitch a few times in December when I have more time, just to get a feel or habit for it. Yeah. Like, I streamed initially and didn't bring enough, like, any attention to it. And, I feel like that was good. And I learned very quickly that I could, like, talk and stream for hours without anyone being in chat or anything. Like, I can just talk to myself forever, and it doesn't really matter. What? Oh, even more? How is that even possible? Also, I do really like the variety of, like, side quests in this game. I feel like... Has there been any side quest that is, like the other? It's been very varied. I still feel like a beginner streamer, though, as a whole. I feel like I have a lot to learn through experience. It's kind of weird, actually, because maybe this sounds really weird. But I kind of feel like the VTuber trend is dying in a weird way, or like the indie VTuber scene is dying in a weird way. But I don't know if that's just like my interpretation or like my watching habits or what's going on. Maybe it is just a thing, it was like at its peak during COVID, right? And then there's been like a fall off since then, where people have like graduated and been like, I don't know, falling it up. What's specifically the indie part? Well, I feel like a lot of the streamers that I used to watch have kind of stopped streaming. Or they have been, like, doing things differently from before. And I don't know what that is. I don't even know if I can explain it fully. Like, a lot of people I used to watch just don't stream anymore. In general, the VTuber sphere is evolving at least. Yeah, I think so, also. And I kind of feel like I got into it late, in a weird way. But maybe also, I don't know, perfect in a weird way. Like, I actually think if I had started streaming like a year ago or 2 years ago, it would have maybe been a bad time for me. Or I don't know, actually. Maybe, I don't know. It's really difficult to say. I guess I kind of just started streaming because I forced myself to. I made one video where I watched, like, what was it, Pokemon Direct. And I said, how about I stream Pokemon tomorrow if you watch the ending of this video? Come catch me on stream tomorrow. And then I said that in the video when I uploaded it and was like, well, now I have to do it and force myself to it. And I think that was kind of good because I had held off from streaming for so long, and now I sucked myself into a situation where I had to do it. And then from doing that, I found out, oh, I actually love streaming. So I don't know. It's also adjacent to video game streaming. Yeah, I think I don't know how to like how should I put this? I can see someone like Jerma. You know Jerma 985 being like exhausted from streaming, because I think he probably sees streaming in a different way from other people. Which, like, for him, it is just like stand-up comedy in a weird way, or like improv comedy. And maybe there's something about that scene that's the way that he pictured it. It's no longer suited for him in a weird way. And other people don't reach that kind of burnout because they don't approach it the same way that Jerma does. So he's like retired. And other people see, like, what's the point, though? What's the problem? It's just streaming video games. It's so funny because when you announced that, it sounded like you'd been casually streaming for years. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have just thought about streaming for years, and I've just been like, I was very perfectionist about it. And it was kind of like, oh, yeah, but I want to have everything drawn by me. I want a background that's drawn by me, a character drawn by me. And I spent forever trying to come up with a character, and I could not draw a background because I did not have a theme or whatever. And then eventually it was just like, throw everything onto the canvas. Just see what sticks over time. Become a fish, become a monkey, do this, do that. And somehow that worked out. Or I think that is the advice I would give, of like, just throw everything out there and see what sticks. Be a monkey for a while. When you get bored of being a monkey, try something else out. Be a fish. When you're bored of being a fish, just become human. Try different forms of being a human. See what you like. Northern Lion has some good remarks on that. He had been a content creator for years. He mentioned that ultimately it doesn't matter what exact form you create in. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, it kind of naturally finds its spot based on just who you are as a person, right? Like, if I approached making YouTube videos today from the point of view... sorry. Of, like, what other people on YouTube are making, then I would just not be making YouTube videos. But now I've made enough YouTube videos to be like, I know what I would make, I guess. Because I know from experience what kind of person I am and what I like making. I don't know, maybe that didn't make sense, but I think you kind of naturally find your thing by doing it enough, right? Circling back, if you woke up feeling different when you made your channel, you might have pivoted into becoming a dedicated Mario content creator. I think... do not be surprised if, like, 5 years from now, I am just the Mario guy, and I'm the Mario VTuber, and it's all I do. Like, genuinely, I could see myself playing through Mario 64, like, over and over again. I'm kind of insane, I don't know. There's too much. There's too much to do with Mario. This has been a really strange Mario stream. Somehow, my non-Mario stream turned into another Mario stream. It's been kind of weird. But I think this is also a part of streaming. This is a part of the development, right? I found my niche, and now I'm desperately trying to escape it. Pokemon. I love it. We can't get enough. I feel like I've barely done anything since the start of the stream. I've just been fighting. But I feel like all of the things I've done during the stream has been fun, despite how little development it has been, how little involvement it might seem from the outside. You know, this might be too early to say, but I think this might be like my new favorite Pokemon game. I don't want to make a too early review or anything. Can you tell I'm trying not to talk about Mario? No, I exposed myself. Okay, just ignore that part. I will say though, if I had started doing like content creation today, I would have definitely 100% I would have been a VTuber. And I would have just like made everything that I do now, but under the persona of a VTuber. There would have been a Machipoco, and maybe not Machipoco, but there would have been an equivalent. There's something to the idea of being a persona that I really like. That I wish I could go back in time and not just use my real name for everything. If it makes you feel any better, I've been on the same RuneScape task I've been under since I started watching the stream. That's quite alright. I feel like the trouble with Persona is that you have to stick with it, even if your interest disperses. You know, that is actually a legitimate point. That is actually a good point. I feel like one of the benefits to me, like, being myself is that, like, I almost have to, like, be myself, no matter what. If I were a Persona, it would have been really easy to also fall into, like, a pigeonhole or flanderized version of myself, where I'm like, I'm not fully myself, and I can explain myself away as I'm not being myself. Does that make sense? Like, streaming as yourself, at least you're kind of forced to stick with that, right? Yeah, I do think, like, I think people should maybe be a bit, like, careful about, like, their privacy online. But I do genuinely think the pressure of being myself has benefited me in many ways. Like, I can't say insane, wacko shit, because everything is attached to me. And it's not really that I would have done that under a persona, but I think some people would really benefit that from just like having a secondary thought to like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be saying the most insane take of all time, because I'm like, people are going to see, hey, that's me. Yes, you'd run the risk of becoming a caricature of yourself. Yeah, and I think that's always like inevitable, no matter what, in a way, right? It's always kind of inevitable with streaming or being online as a content creator. Like, I don't think there's truly and escape from it, but it definitely can help and benefit you in certain ways. To be like, hey, here's me, my brand is me, I'm doing myself, this is me. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm passionate about content creation, maybe is what I would add. I'm passionate about stuff that I'm passionate about, and content creation is kind of like an outlet for that. And I think that's a good way to approach things rather than I want to make money on the internet. That wasn't really how I started it. It was just like, I want to make things that entertain my friends. And there's always a market for that, in a weird way. It's been 2 hours, and I might actually end stream now, because I can feel my throat is scratching up a bit, and I still need to rest it a bit from being sick. But I could not help myself, I really wanted to try this out on stream. Get some thoughts out, play it, see what I think. I like it, but I can feel it. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Gildaris. Thank you, everyone here previously. And I'll be back with Mario. Will I? Will I be back with Mario? I don't know, I'll think about it. Maybe I'll will return to Balan Wonderworld. There's some stuff I want to explore in that game. Let's see. Is there anyone who can raid? The thing is, I'm not even that sick, but my throat is kind of still scratchy from just like, I was sick for so long that all I did was cough. It's kind of weird. Recovery takes time. It certainly does. Sometimes it's like way too long. It looks like Game Center CX is back, so we can raid Game Center CX. Let's frickin' go. Even minor things like a scratch. I guess that's also a thing when you stream. That takes long. And, you know, I start the stream and I'm like, oh, my throat is doing good. And then later on, it's like, I've been talking non-stop for 2 hours. No wonder, right? Thank you, everyone. I will be back. I'll stream. I'll get to it. Thank you for stream. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming. Bye. What will I say? What's the final note I can end on? Bye.